Imagine the following scenarios. You're walking through the woods and all of a sudden this big ass black bear comes at you. Rawr. I'm a bear, bro. I'm hungry. I'm about to eat you. Or imagine that you're in a liberal city and all of a sudden you're surrounded by a bunch of BLM and Antifa thugs and they want to jump you just because you're wearing one of these hats. And they think you're one of those racist right-wingers. What are you going to do? Are you going to use a pistol or are you going to use a pistol? Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of The Sovereign Goat Man, unedited, uncut, and straight from the heart. In this episode, we're going to talk about guns because I love guns just like the way I love goats, but not the Taliban kind of way. But I digress. Where was I? Oh, going back to those two scenarios. Your life is threatened, whether by wildlife or by a bunch of criminals. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are natural rights given to us by God. Inherent to life is our right to also defend it. If life is threatened, if your life is threatened, if the life of your loved ones are threatened, you have every right to defend them with deadly force if necessary. Again, I ask the question, are you going to use a pistol or are you going to use a pistol? Unless you're Bruce Lee and you can kick ass 20 guys in 1 minute, like, I doubt that you have what it takes to be the Enter the Dragon Chop Sake master. I'm dizzy, by the way. That was pretty badass, though. So, where was I? Oh, yes. Are you going to use a pistol or are you going to use a pistol? In this episode, I'm going to talk about two things. The project that I'm working on. What the hell, man? That was a dumbass move. Give me a second here. All right, here we go. It's cold. Put the jacket back on. So by definition, I don't have anything against traditional pistols, but this is the pistol I prefer. By definition, ATF classifies this as a pistol because it's under a certain barrel length and it also has what's called a pistol brace. Once a pistol brace is basically goes on your forearm like so. So according to government, by definition, this is a pistol. But to me, it's all semantics. And trust me, criminals don't care what type of weapon you have when you're about to make them unalive. If I were to replace this pistol brace with a definition of a rifle stock, this would be an SBR, short barrel rifle. And then I'd have to go to that criminal three-letter agency that starts with the letter A and end with F, and I have to get what's called a tax stamp. Pistol, rifle, it doesn't matter. Because government calls this pistol, I'm actually going to refer to it as a rifle. At any rate, no such thing as being too safe when it comes to gun, right? Right. So, first things first, chamber, as you can see, is empty. Remove the magazine. Weapon is unsafe. This is a Springfield St. Vic PDW. PDW stands for Personal Defense Weapon. It has a proprietary collapsible stock made by Maxim Defense. Maxim Defense is actually a competitor of Springfield and also Daniel Defense. But because Maxim did such a good job creating this particular style of a pistol brace, butt stock, whatever, Springfield was smart enough to say, you know what, we can't compete with that. Let's just cooperate with them and just use the stock that they have so we can continue to sell our weapon. See, capitalism, it's not always about competition. Sometimes it's about cooperation. So that was a good move. Unfortunately for Springfield, they have stopped making this particular model. I think they got scared when that ATF pistol brace nonsense came out. So it's like, yeah, we're going to stop selling it, whatever. But we kept fighting the good fight, so we won. But I digress. So, collapsible stock. And this is actually the shortest rifle on the market in the fully collapsed position. The full length is 18.5 inches, so it's perfect for concealing. I can conceal this in PA because it's considered a pistol and I have a CCW. But again, because I don't comply, I'm going to continue to call this a rifle because that's what this is. What I've done so far, and this is an ongoing project, work in progress. I plan to replace some of the moving parts. So far I have replaced the charging handle. I've added something that is beefier than the stock part, so I removed it. This is not a ambidextrous charging handle. It's just a ambidextrous. To me, as a right-handed person, it's really useless. So to me, this is good enough, but I like it because it's beefy. As you can see, it's much thicker than your standard charging handle. I've also added a fore-end grip, as you can see here. This really, it just helps me. It just helps my brain say, hey, idiot, don't get your booger picker past this point because you're gonna get your fingers blown off. So this is my limit here. You don't want any moving parts past this muzzle. This is a good way for me to hold the rifle and push it up against my shoulder like that. I have also added a flashlight. As you can see, this is a very streamlined design. Personally, when I operate a light at night, I would much rather use my thumb to operate. This one here, when you hold it, you can do an intermittent hold it, release, hold it, release. If I want to turn it on, I just press it once. The same thing with the strobe. If I hold it like so, intermittently, but if I push it once, it continues to go on. The muzzle is also a proprietary design by Springfield. This is called a muzzle diverter something, whatever. What it does is, because when you have a shorter barrel, it's going to be noisier. That's just how it is. So they designed this so that all the blasts will go forward, and it's really noisy down here, but behind me as an operator, the sound is not gonna affect me as bad. What else did I do? This one here, for now, this is a temporary red dot. I plan to replace it with a micro prism that has an etched reticle. I like the etched reticle only because even if the battery, say, runs out, you can still see the chevron because it's etched right on the scope. And I plan to use a 1 power micro prism. I've also added a sling attachment. It's on the left because I don't have enough room on the right, or I'm sorry, it's on the right because I don't have enough room on the left. I don't want anything that gets in the way when I hold the forend. So I placed it on the right side. I also have the option of making this a single point, just simply by removing this and attaching it to the end. In the future, this has an ambidextrous safety grip or a safety switch, ambidextrous, as you can see. This is also going to be replaced by something that is beefier and also color red. So all the moving parts that you see here will be eventually replaced with something that's aftermarket that will match the red color that you see. Now, I'm not racist. I like all colors, but this sometimes is how I celebrate diversity. I like white, I like black, but I also like red. So if I'm going to do something, might as well. I don't think I'm going to ever paint this because I'm addicted to camouflaging my rifles. But this one here, I really like how it looks. So I'm just going to keep it as is. And I have decided to just change the moving components with something that's aftermarket with a beefier configuration in the color red. What else? As far as backup sight, traditionally, rifles, especially in the AR configuration, you want a backup sight. But in this case, I don't really need it. I really feel that because my purpose for this is home defense and backpack gun if I ever go hiking or going through the woods, home defense against criminals, defense against bears, defense against Antifa, BLM, whoever. I don't feel the need to have a backup sight. Plus, the optic that I plan to get for this is of high quality, so I don't expect it to go down in a firefight. This comes with two types of magazine. One is a 20 round, one is a 30 round. But you can use any standard AR magazine in this rifle. And let me see. And as you can see too, because this will be a backpack gun, this will be in some place that will be either in my person or in a bag during the summer, or in my person attached to me in the winter. I want it to be as streamlined as possible. I don't want any bulky stuff hanging out of it. That's why I got this flashlight as opposed to something like a Surefire. So really streamlined, really streamlined. So why did I buy this rifle? And why am I not content with a traditional pistol? Actually, pistols are not bad. My favorite pistol is a 1911 ACP. It has enough stopping power, but with the situation, you just don't know. Plus, I can comfortably carry this all day if I'm out there in public or in the woods. So instead of having a pistol, I don't mind carrying this at all in public. I'm used to carrying heavy stuff, being a weightlifter, so it doesn't really bother me. Plus, you cannot go wrong with a 5.56 NATO round, whether in a close quarter scenario or out to 600 yards. It's not a problem. The effective maximum range of this, and I have not shot it at that range, is out to 300, which is not bad considering this is a 5.5 inch barrel. See, the model, the St. Vic, it has two types of pistol. The PDW, the barrel is 5.5, and then they also have another one with a traditional collapsible stock, and that one has a 7.5 barrel, a little bit longer. So I got lucky when I bought this. I bought it used. I stopped buying brand new stuff long ago. There's no point. That's why I like to have, some cash on hand, so that when I see something, it's like, okay, can you put this on layaway, and then I'll pick it up in a couple of weeks or so. So what else was gonna talk about? Yeah, so that's the purpose of me getting this rifle. I don't have any problem with guys who trick out their ARs the way teenagers trick out their Honda Civics. I have that type of rifle, the tactical kind of rifle, but this one really has an application that is practical. So I plan to be training with this a lot more than my other tricked out AR, because you fight the way, or you train the way you fight. That's the mantra for the United States Army. I will be doing another review, and I'll be talking about this gun in the near future once it's complete. Again, this is just in a temporary stage. So the next time you see me with this video, it'll have new furniture, new optics, and I will also include some shooting drills so you can see the flamethrower that comes out of this. Also, ideally, when you mount a flashlight, you don't want the flashlight to go past beyond the muzzle, because it could damage the flashlight. But in this case, because the blast, because of this technology that Springfield has, all the blasts go forward that way. I don't expect the flashlight to be damaged by the flamethrower. Plus, it's really not that expensive compared to Surefire. This is relatively cheaper. Oh, the other thing too is, for those of you who want to consider getting this particular model, this is chambered in 5.56. So the traditional belief, and this is true in most cases, if you have an AR that is chambered in 5.56, you can shoot 5.56 and also 223. But if it's chambered in 223, you should never use a 5.56, because 5.56 has a greater pressure. In this case, it does not like 223, so because it doesn't have enough pressure. So the last shot, it doesn't lock in position like this. The last shot, if I use a 223, it'll go boom and then bam. So I've been using a 5.56. With 5.56, it locks in place as designed like that. So now you can remove the magazine, reload, and then rock and roll. The other thing too, unbeknownst to me when I first bought this, especially you'll understand this if you're an AR addict like I am. When you disassemble this, the buffer spring and the buffer tube, the buffer spring and the buffer in the buffer tube, it does not have a retention pin, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you disassemble this, you'll see everything just kind of, and that's okay. That's by design. So don't think, oh, there's something wrong with my gun, man. What do I do? No, there's nothing wrong with it. This does not have a detent retention pin. Just remember that. So if you ever buy one of these, it's a beautiful rifle. It's a beautiful home defense gun. Just remember those things. So I'll be doing another video once the project is complete. And with that, I am the Starving Goat Man.